Judah and Tamar, a complex biblical narrative. In the midst of Joseph's narrative, following his abandonment and sale by his brothers, and prior to his acquisition in Egypt, an autonomous segment emerges in the form of the account of Judah and Tamar in Genesis 38. This is the tragic narrative of Tamar. Some assert she is malevolent, although some perceive her as a hero. Our narrative commences following Judah's marriage to a woman with whom he fathered 3 kids. 2 of his sons married the same woman sequentially, but regrettably, both died. Several years later, Judah encountered the same woman again, resulting in the birth of the twins, Peretz and Zarek. This contrasts with the prudent fathers who refrained from marrying Canaanite daughters. Judah chose to marry a Canaanite woman. A man of Canaan named Shua had 3 sons. The first son was named the second Onan, and the third had his own name. The eldest, was married to Tamar, but died under circumstances deemed bad in the sight of God. The reasons for his demise remain unclear. Judah presents Onan, his second son, with the chance to wed his deceased brother's widow in accordance with Deuteronomy 25. Should a woman marry and her husband die without progeny, she is obligated to wed her deceased husband's brother to perpetuate his lineage and bear offspring on his behalf. The son born from this union will be regarded as the child of the deceased and will inherit his estate in lieu of the deceased. The firstborn son shall bear the name of the deceased brother to ensure his name endures within Israel. Deuteronomy 25:6. Such will be the situation with Judah Peretz, and Zarek will replace in Onan. Externally, Onan adheres to his father's directives, however he reprimands his sister-in-law. Judah instructed Onan to cohabit with his brother's wife and fulfill his obligation as a brother-in-law to produce offspring for his brother, as stated in Genesis 38:8. Upon hearing Judah's directive to raise offspring for his brother, Onan recognized that the child to be born would be considered his brother's, not his own. Despite his disagreement, he undertook what he deemed necessary, which ultimately led to his demise. However, there exists a distinction between the deaths of the 2 brothers. His actions were abominable in the eyes of the Lord, hence the Lord decreed his death. Genesis 38:10. Both individuals were deemed unfavorable in the sight of God. Nevertheless, it was explicitly stated that Onan's actions were condemned, indicating that he committed a transgression according to the scripture. Testifies that it was now the 3rd son's turn, Shelah, to assist the widow. The familial relationship between Judah and Tamar stays constant. She continues to be his daughter-in-law, and he remains her father-in-law. This indicates that the bond between the woman and her husband's family is preserved and unbroken. However, due to the apprehension that his 3rd son may also perish, Judah declines to arrange a match for her. There exists a feeling of guilt and a detrimental influence that appears to impact anyone who interacts with her. Ultimately, Tamar remains reticent and does not disclose her secret to Judah. Judah instructed his daughter-in-law Tamar to reside as a widow in her father's household until his son Shelah reaches maturity. Genesis 38:11. What was his goal, according to the Bible commentator? Judah rejected her with contempt and sought to terminate their association, returning her to her family. Marrying her at a young age could be perilous, particularly given Judah's awareness of his young son's conduct towards her. As she matures, it is hoped that he will act more appropriately than his brother, allowing her to marry another. Consequently, he did not relinquish the familial connection with her, which is why he was appalled upon discovering his daughter-in-law's behavior. To avert any further interaction between them, he expelled her from his household. Eventually, Judah's wife passed away, and thus far, everything has been tolerable. Augmented reality. Onan, Shelah, and Shoa's daughter are peripheral characters who largely provide context for comprehending Tamar's character. Subsequently, Tamar assumes prominence and initiates action. Judah sought solace in pursuing a marriage, however, Tamar did not. She persisted in donning her widow's garments. Tamar remains informed about the events in the house of Judah and discovers that Judah is traveling to Timnah to participate in the sheep-shearing festival. This revelation ignites a daring scheme in her mind. She refuses to allow her mother to dictate her actions and instead resolves to confront Judah's intentions, asserting her autonomy. She feigns the role of a prostitute, bravely jeopardizing her honor, fully aware of the potential dangers she may face, including the risk to her life should her plan fail. To evade recognition by Judah, she conceals herself with a veil. Subsequently, Judah falls into her trap, unaware that she is his daughter-in-law, and approaches her by the roadside, proposing, "Come now, let me sleep with you." She inquires, "What will you give me to sleep with you?" Genesis 38:16. He cannot afford the services of a prostitute, suggesting he did not foresee meeting such a woman. Tamar requested a pledge from Judah, and upon inquiring what she desired, she responded with his seal, cord, and staff. The worth of this guarantee significantly surpassed that of the goat Judah intended to offer. Nevertheless, he acquiesced to her proposition, illustrating the fervor of his desire. Moreover, he was confident that he would soon arrive in Timnah, from which he could dispatch the promised item, as he was an adept herdsman. Tamar does not intend to utilize the guarantee. However, she is covertly devising a duplicitous plan to mislead Judah. Judah honors his commitment upon arriving in Timnah. He entrusts his pledge to his confidant, a Belamite, to retrieve his token from the woman, but he is unable to locate her. Judah astutely remarked that we should not complicate our inquiry, lest we become a source of laughter. "I dispatched it and you conducted a search. It is not our responsibility that we did not locate it. Approximately 3 months have elapsed and Judah has been apprised. 3 months later, Judah was informed on your daughter-in-law. Tamar is culpable of prostitution and thus is now pregnant. Judah commanded that she be brought forth and executed by burning." Genesis 38:24. There are 2 news items, one more challenging than the other. She is engaged in prostitution and is pregnant, which has elicited shock regarding her condition. Tamar was considered Sheila's fiancée. Otherwise, it would be difficult to comprehend why they expressly conveyed this sensational news to Judah, referring to her as daughter-in-law. Tamar's acts were regarded as an affront to his family's reputation, prompting him to render a harsh verdict. He condemned her to the punishment of burning. The narrative culminates in a dramatic finale immediately prior to her igniting in flames. Tamar stands among the assembled crowd at the gate of Adullam, confidently advancing into the flames with the guarantee in her hands. Tamar presents the guarantee to an individual in the throng and politely requests him to convey it to Judah. "I am pregnant by the man who possesses these," she stated, and further remarked, "Ascertain if you recognize whose seal, cord, and staff these are." Genesis 38:25. Judah is presently confronting a significant conflict, and his reaction may render him foolish in the perception of the large crowd. It is ironic that he denounces them as criminals while he himself engages in criminal behavior. To deny this would constitute a grave miscarriage of justice. After thorough reflection, Judah did not respond immediately. His reply was that she is more righteous than he. Justice did not bring disgrace to the family, not through me, but through her. He was unaware of her identity, yet she was cognizant of his. Nonetheless, she proceeded with her actions. The biblical author has interrupted the narrative. We are now in the 3rd month of her gestation, and the subsequent information to be conveyed will pertain to the time of delivery. Why did he abruptly conclude his depiction at such a pivotal moment rather than portraying a criminal? She is a courageous and valiant woman who risked her life and, by a miracle, was spared from a dreadful demise. According to the perceptions of the people of Edom, she committed no sin. Under the established Canaanite law, the father-in-law possesses the authority to be with the widow if his sons neglect their obligations. Nevertheless, Judah opted to adhere to his own principles. The author refrained from expressing a judgment regarding Tamar, neither favorable nor unfavorable. Yet another author elucidated this in the book of Ruth. There are numerous parallels between Tamar and Judah, as well as between Naomi and Ruth. In both narratives, there are 4 participants: Elimelech, Naomi, Mahlon, and Chilion. Of these 4, only one remained. Naomi is present among the 4 individuals. Judah, together with his wife Er and Onan, is the sole survivor in Adullam. two foreign ladies from Moab appear, intertwining their fates with the families they marry into. One proclaims, "Your people shall be my people, and your God my God." Ruth 1:16. In the second instance, Tamar articulated the phrase, "Your God is my God," as she could not assert, "Your people will be my people," due to the non-existence of the nation. She irrevocably intertwined her destiny with this family, notwithstanding her husband's inappropriate conduct. There is no issue in addressing the mother's sentiments in this context. She can accomplish this through alternative legal avenues without jeopardizing her life. Tamar is the inaugural foreigner and the first to be integrated into the dynasty of Israel, preceding Ruth in this context. The author of the book of Ruth positions both figures equivalently, effectively communicating his message. Through the offspring the Lord grants you by this young woman, may your family resemble that of Perez, whom Tamar bore to Judah. Ruth 4:12. Tamar exemplifies the standard by which the inhabitants of Bethlehem evaluate Ruth the Moabite. The author articulates his perspective on Tamar, a viewpoint not before expressed by his predecessor. Tamar and Ruth are two extraordinary women integral to the lineage of King David. Within the text, there exists a reprimand directed at Judah and commendation for Tamar. The joy that permeated Bethlehem and the blessings articulated there may also be invoked upon this woman, resonating in her era. However, the author refrains from reveling in Tamar's joy. Instead, he opts for silence. The rationale lies in her deceitful actions, which, despite her aspiration for holiness, employed methods that diverged from established protocols, ultimately failing to confer true holiness upon her achievements. Tamar pirates and Zerah welcomed the arrival of their sons, who were part of the Judah dynasty. We hope you acquired new knowledge today. If so, please like this video and share it with your friends. You may also share your thoughts with us. Please share your insights by leaving a comment below, and remember to subscribe to our channel for further historical and biblical videos.